What are the biggest overreactions as we get set for Eagles training camp and the start of the 2024 Eagles season? What are the biggest overreactions you have as the Phillies are now embarked on the second half of their season? It's an overreaction Monday where I want to talk about all the different overreactions that you have about our Philadelphia sports teams. We're live here on Trend in the AM, taking your thoughts and opinions in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live, back from another weekend off. Another week begins, and boy, is it a fun week, guys, because it is the week that we wait for. As soon as the season ends, we wait for the season to start again, and this week the Eagles season starts back up with players, with the team reporting to training camp on Tuesday tomorrow. First practice on Wednesday. Practice is the only time of the year that we get excited for practice. Phillies kicked off their second half of the season this weekend, not in very exciting fashion. Of course, there's lots of Joel Embiid and Team USA conversation as well, but we're here to talk all about it. So make sure you guys do me the favor and hit that like button, share button, subscribe button, follow button. Whichever platform you are watching on, do what you can to share the show out and get it only show where your opinions actually matter. And what are we talking about today on Training the AM? We're talking about the start of Eagles training camp. We're talking about the Phillies second half. I want your biggest overreactions to both teams. I mean, you can throw Sixers overreactions in there as well if interested. You know, the Joel Embiid Team USA conversation that's been going on. His pretty honest interview, which I didn't really listen to yet. I have to catch up on that still. But I know it's a topic of conversation for a lot of people. So that is out there as well. But we want to take your overreactions on the Eagles. What's your biggest overreaction? Is it maybe about a specific player? Is it an overreaction, on a coach? What's your biggest overreaction to the Eagles right now? What's your biggest overreaction to the Phillies? I had a conversation on social media this weekend about all the different trades the Phillies could make again for the 100th time. But then someone brought up, do the Phillies even need to make a blockbuster trade? And I thought that wasn't an overreaction. That was a bold take and something that we could dive into as well. Whatever you want. I mean, overreaction is John Harbaugh. I just saw on SportsCenter here right before we went live saying his goal is to make Lamar Jackson known as the greatest quarterback of all time. Now that's an overreaction right there. There were a lot of overreactions, lots of opinions floating around social media this weekend. They're all on the table. Whatever you want to talk about, we are here to do it. Good morning, Duck. How are you, party people? I don't know if we're the party people. It's Monday morning. Are we really partying on Monday morning? Is it really party time on Monday mornings? I don't know about that. What I do know is that, it is Monday morning. And I didn't get my Sunday off like I like. So I'm a little extra draggy this morning. Slightly bigger cup of espresso this morning because of it. But good morning to you. That's right, Tom. What's up? Go Birds. Hope you are well this morning, Tom. And let's talk about the Eagles, We could talk plenty of Phillies as well. But with camp starting, there's a lot to discuss, a lot to think about, a lot going on. I had the privilege on Friday with Jim, my realtor, my friend from Next Move Keller Williams, to go to the A.J. Brown football camp. Let me tell you something. It was quite the experience. A.J. Brown, I'm a big man, 6'2", almost 2. Well, no. Today I weighed in at 215, a new low for me for lately. I'm a big boy. A.J. Brown makes me look small. So that was a pretty awesome experience right there. But, Eagles-wise, and I'm starting to sit here and think about overreactions. I'm starting to think about my opinions on different things with the Eagles and whether certain opinions I have are overreactions or not. And, I saw some people discussing the safety position this weekend on the Eagles. And I'm like everybody else. I think they need more help at safety. But is it an overreaction that we need to go out there and get Justin Simmons? Is it an overreaction that Brendan Deeg went out there and says he thinks Mekhi Becton should be starting at right guard to start the season? They're two smaller overreactions or topics of discussion for this Eagles team as we get set. The lack of depth at safety and who is going to be the starting right guard. They're kind of like two of the more important camp battles, so to speak, as we get set, for camp here to start tomorrow. First practice in pretty much 48 hours. Judd's in the house. We're talking overreactions. Eagles, Phillies, overreactions, big picture and small picture, my man. Good to see you though in the comments, my man. I'm so fascinated with the safety situation right now with the Eagles. Because let's be honest, we got Reed Blankenship, we got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, two injury-prone guys. We got nothing else. Like, legitly, nothing else. Right now on the depth chart, you got Sidney Brown, who's not healthy, and you got Christian McCollum. And that's it in the safety room. Now, I know you got Cooper DeJean, who could maybe be moved there. I know Avonte Maddox could be moved there. I know James Bradbury is going to be discussed about moving there. I know you've got 12 cornerbacks for 7 roster spots. But my question is going out and getting a guy like Justin Simmons, who is still out there on the market, is it an overreaction to say it's almost a necessity at this point? It's almost imperative that the Eagles go out there and add another safety? Or is that an overreaction because you have all these guys? And I find it odd that Justin Simmons still doesn't have a contract somewhere. I really do. I mean, I just was watching highlights here. Kansas City Chiefs. Some camps are already going on. And this guy who's considered still a pretty solid safety in the league is still sitting out there. Is it is it crazy to think about why is he still out there? Is he a great fit for the Eagles or not? Why haven't they made another addition? Or are we really at the point where let's just see what we've got with 12 cornerbacks and see if one of them can stand out enough to be the next safety on this team? Look, Sidney Brown is starting on the PUP list. I highly doubt that we would see Sidney Brown on a football field for the first 5, 6, 7 weeks of the season. I was thinking November, maybe a little sooner than November. Where's the Eagles schedule here? I want to pull up the Eagles schedule again here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The whole first column, there's a strong chance that he is not on the field. So can you really get by for 8 weeks with just Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, and a bunch of cornerbacks? I don't know. What's up, Michael? Go Union. That's right. They had another win this week. That's 2 wins in the last week or so. Concern for the Eagles. The new coaching and systems don't click right away, and we relive another season for Sirianni sitting on the hot seat. Really need a good start. I think it's funny you say the new coaching and the systems don't click, because one of my overreactions I want to bring up this morning is Vic Fangio. We're just all assuming like that, a snap of a finger, Vic Fangio is going to have this defense go from the dreck that we saw at the end of the season to like this elite, unstoppable defense. We lost Fletcher Cox, the biggest leader. We lost Hassan Reddick, one of the premier top 5 edge rushers in football, and he's still not playing with the Jets. Maybe we get a trade with the Jets and get him back for a 7th round pick. That would be something. We're just assuming that these young kids, Isaiah Rodgers or Quinion Mitchell, are going to start right away and be great at outside cornerback. I am more concerned. Is it an overreaction to say I am more concerned with the defense and Vic Fangio as a new addition than Kellen Moore in the offense? The offense is just loaded. I'm 1,000% more concerned with the job that Fangio has to do and whether he could turn it around. Because again, Michael, I'll pull the schedule back up here. The start of the schedule, much tougher than the end of the schedule. Green Bay's no slouch. Atlanta, up-and-coming team. New Orleans, great defense. Tampa, they knocked us out of the playoffs. Cleveland, we'll see if they're good or not. The Giants stink. The Bengals in Cincy is always tough. I mean, it's a pretty tough schedule to start the season. So is it a crazy overreaction to say I am more concerned with Vic Fangio than Kellen Moore? Absolutely need another safety. Move a cornerback over for depth, but there's an upgrade available. We should pursue it. I think it's an overreaction just to assume and move cornerbacks to safety, Judd. We tried it with Avonte Maddox. It kind of worked out, kind of didn't. We've tried it before with other players. It just doesn't naturally happen. It's a different position. It's a different skill set. James Bradbury, they talk about putting James Bradbury back there. And we'll see on Wednesday's first practice if he does that. Problem is, what you got to do when you're a safety? You got to tackle. James Bradbury don't tackle. Avonte Maddox gets hurt every time he makes a tackle. So I don't know if it's necessarily the right move or the right theory to go with. Now, that's what they're probably doing. And they've probably got a line of communication with Justin Simmons that if it's not going well, a week or two into camp, you see him at it. But I'd rather I hate the 2 weeks into camp adding a key piece. Just get it done now. Morty Mitchie Poo, can I get AJ Brown on Fly Like an Eagle podcast? You got connections. No, I'm not giving up that connection. No. Let me tell you something. I've never been to a professional athlete sports camp before. The what they do, Mitch, 600 kids, all the parents, loads and loads of volunteers, insanity. Plus, you got to have time to make sure that every kid gets their picture taken with AJ and what. Dude, what an experience. Now, there were some delays with some things because of that cybersecurity shit that went down on Friday morning. So we didn't get as much private one-on-one time with AJ Brown. But, man, what an experience. And what a moment for those kids, because AJ Brown made sure to throw passes to all the kids. And the younger kids, catching passes from AJ Brown's got to mean so much to them. I'm afraid whatever the cancer in the locker room was is still present. I'm writing that down, okay? I'm afraid cancer is still there. I got to put Eagles so no one looks at my book and thinks I have cancer or anything like that. That's interesting. The question is, who do you think was that cancer in the locker room? You better not say Jalen Hurts. But there was something wrong in that locker room last year. There was. Even I won't deny that. And is it still here? I don't know what it was. Fangio is the least of my coaching concerns because they have been running a similar system. Right. I get that, Duck. It is a similar system. And it's the creator of the system versus the pupil of the system, Sean Desai. But all the same bad traits that were on this defense of lack of tackling and discipline. I mean, you've added a few new pieces, but you've lost a couple key pieces. Is Vic Fangio just going to magically make rookies or James Bradbury be great cornerbacks instantly? Is Darius Slay going to find the fountain of youth? Is Bryce Huff going to be able to play the amount of snaps that Fangio is going to need him to? The loss of Fletcher Cox is massive. A lot of snaps there that haven't really been replaced. I'm concerned that defense is going to lag early in the season. Whatever happened mentally last year happened again. I agree. I think it's a concern. I think it's a valid concern. More system is more concerning because there's a very new system that needs to be done. I get that, Duck, and I understand what you're saying. 95% new offense versus a 95% repeat defense. But on offense, you've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens. I mean, I might have missed some other key names, but I think I named almost the entire starting offense. You've got elite of an elite talent on offense. I am more confident that an elite skill set of players like they have on offense can figure it out. And let's be honest, the offense was pretty elite most of last year. The defense was pretty bad most of last year, especially in first half of games. That's something interesting. First half defense was always a problem. Can Fangio fix that? Write notes. I'm already we're 14 minutes into the show, 16 minutes into the show. I'm already taking notes. What about the whole Biden thing? I'm going to make one. What about Biden? Veteran presence in the locker room can mentor the young guys in the secondary. He's a free agent now. I'll make one Joe Biden comment for now. I made a joke on Twitter. Well, I have another one for later, a poll question for later. Yes, Mitchie, we're talking polls again. But I made one comment, a very relevant joke, because it only happened like 4 years ago. That wasn't Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, wanting to run for president. Maybe he should throw his name in the hat. And the official Joe Exotic Twitter account responded. They must be searching people commenting his name and said, here's where you could donate. He's going to run. And what? I'm like, dude, it was a joke. But their account thought I was serious. And I really wanted Joe Exotic to run for president. I don't. I just thought it was kind of funny. I woke up this morning and saw that response to my tweet. And I thought it was pretty hilarious that Joe Exotic's got 85,000 followers on Twitter. I think it's pretty funny. The fact that it was like 8 years ago. Tired of blaming coaches for the Eagles' failures. It's time for the players to be accountable. I like this. I agree. It's the players' fault sometimes. It's the coach's fault sometimes. I do believe the coaches, Barbara, were a bigger part of the blame than the coaches or the players last year. I do. Vic Fangio will be an upgrade over Sean Desai, Matt Patricia. Kellen Moore will be an upgrade over Brian Johnson. There were more media reports that it was not Brian Johnson's fault of the static offense. It was all Nick Sirianni's fault. The media just wants to bring Nick Sirianni down, and that's fine. Even though Nick Sirianni, brushed off my man Jim right here for a handshake at the football camp. And again, this is the great realtor here from Next Move, Jim, who brought me to the football camp. So again, thank you. Muchas gracias. If you guys need a realtor, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland, find this guy right here on all socials, man. He'll help you out. When will we find out who the cancer was in a few years? Yeah, the ESPN 30 for 30, Davey, in 2031 will be breaking down the 2023 Eagles failures. I mean, we truly have never gotten 110% confirmation on who the cancer was. Was it Alshon Jeffries? Was it somebody else in the earlier days? We never know who was really the Josina Anderson whistleblower there. So you never know. Brett, back from Maine. What's up, my man? Glad to see you back in the comments. Hope you had a nice vacation. The Diva offensive lineman investing too much time in Christmas carols. Oh, my God. Stop. The Christmas carol thing is fun, and it's an off-season thing. They're not recording that week 3 on a Friday before they face a football team. Come on. Relax. Weekend at Bernie's in this locker room. No thanks. Yeah. Yeah, the Tiger King thing was hilarious. Like, I made a really stupid trick. And as I'm about to hit send on the tweet, I'm like, this is so irrelevant because people don't even remember who the Tiger King is. I'm like, hopefully someone will make a joke about how irrelevant that comment was. So I hit send. And then he actually responded to it. And I didn't even tag him in it. Funny. Joe Exotic was the first pandemic star. That is clear. That is clear. He was the first star of the pandemic. who got his 15 minutes of fame because of the pandemic. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk about, the rest of that stuff, though. It took the better part of 2 decades before we got the story on the TO stuff. Absolutely. And that's why I'm curious how long it will take. I mean, it took 2 decades for me to realize that I was wrong, that I should have been on the TO side of things, Duck, not the Donovan McNabb side of things. So the question is, when will we find out, if ever? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to get really into a deep conversation about the politics this weekend. It was a pretty bold, big moment. Whether you're pro or against Joe Biden, a sitting president 4 months before his ability to get reelection, dropping out of the race. I don't know if anything like that has ever happened. And whether the reason we can't have this conversation on this show is because people get way too fired up about politics in this current world that we live in. You're either too far left or you're either too far right. You can't have a logical conversation. So I'm not saying you specifically, Davey. I'm just saying you as a whole, a majority of people can't have a conversation. And I don't want to have that serious conversation today. I want to have a fun conversation. I want to talk Eagles. I want to talk Phillies. I want to talk my man Anthony's comment on Twitter about the Phillies and overreact to that a little bit. Carol Baskin, the real murderer, the real criminal right there, right? Will there ever be a 30 for 30 on like whether Carol Baskins ever admits to whether she killed her husband or not? I don't know. It's hard to say. We had great captains last year. Who are the captains? Fletcher Cox is gone. Jason Kelsey is gone. Who is replacing those two guys? And was Hassan Reddick a captain? I'm not sure. I think it was Cox, Brandon Graham, and Darius Slay on defense. I want to say. Who are going to be the captains now? I would assume Hurts and A.J. Brown still be captains. You can't give Cam Jurgens a C. On defense, Davis and Carter want to be leaders, but they're not there yet. Who will be the captains on this team going into 2024? Who are the leaders? Who gets nominated to be these captains also tells you who the leaders are in this locker room. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I think it's a great comment. I try not all sports shows, but I try to stay away. I got some jokes. That's about it. I got a poll question that I'm running on Twitter right now on who the next president should be. And trust me, none of the candidates that are going to actually run are part of this poll question, just so you know. It's all jokes. Even with Hurts being young, we had so many vets, it's hard to say what really went wrong. Yeah, I really just think was there some bickering in the locker room, some problems? Probably. But if the locker room was as bad as people try to make it out, Judd, there is zero chance Nick Sirianni would still be the head coach. If he lost the locker room or if the locker room was truly, truly fractured, he would not be here as the head coach. There is zero chance that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie would have brought him back. I'm sure privately, in exit interviews, they talk to every player about this. I'm sure Jalen Hurts was spoken to about the fractures in the locker room and the coaching and Nick Sirianni. So for that, I'm not too concerned. Darius Slay is a mid-captain. He has no cojones. Yeah, I'm always curious why Darius Slay is a captain. Now, everybody leads differently, Davey. Like, you don't always have to lead by being that fiery personality, leading a break from a huddle or a team meeting or anything. Sometimes you just need that veteran presence, that former star or actual star that people can look to for advice privately if they need to. So maybe Darius Slay, and this is not to bring up Tobias Harris, but Tobias Harris, early in his Sixers tenure, was known as that guy that took the young players under their wing, taught them how to be pros, took them out to dinner, hung out with them. Maybe Darius Slay plays that veteran, fatherly figure in the locker room in a different way. But yeah, I get the rest of it. What about Josh Sweat? I was thinking about Josh Sweat this weekend. I was thinking about our defensive line, and then I was thinking about Josh Sweat. Remember something. Josh Sweat was on the trade market just like Hassan Reddick. Nobody wanted Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat took a restructured deal and a pay cut to stay with the Philadelphia Eagles. Josh Sweat is more on the line this season than almost anybody on this defense. Josh Sweat was a rising star on this Eagles defense, and he had a brick wall last year. That's just what I'm going to say there. I don't know if Josh Sweat and Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith are as good as Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, and Nolan Smith, because Hassan Reddick was a top 5 defensive end. Now we don't have any top 5 edge rushers on this team. It's a concern. Major concern. Captains can only do... Lost that pen. Oh, I think I can reach it with my... Nope, can't get that one. I'll just pull out another pen here. Captains can only do so much if morale drops to rock bottom, or a plane is in a tailspin. It's hard to pull off. I get it. 2023 captains: Smith, Hurts, Brown, Slay, Lane, Cox, Kelsey, Brandon Graham. And you've lost 2 of them. So who's replacing Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey? Now, it doesn't say you have to have that many captains, but you're losing 2 Hall of Fame captains as well. So you need somebody on that defense and offensive line, or somebody else. I doubt Saquon. Very rarely is a new player a captain. So that eliminates Saquon and eliminates Devin White. And I say Devin White because he's been in this league for a few years. He's been an all-pro. Maybe Reed Blankenship becomes a leader. I don't think so. Jalen Carter, maybe eventually. I don't know. I'm curious on this one. Who's going to replace the leadership of Kelsey and Brandon Graham? And I think, and this is not an overreaction in my opinion, or maybe you think it is, that the loss of Kelsey and Cox is going to be felt bigger in the leadership department than on the field. Just throwing that out there. Other concern: major media in Philly just wants to see the Eagles crumble again for content, and to deal with their BS for another season. We have to deal with their, Mike. And guys, if you guys don't know who Mike is, look this guy up. He is one of the best. And this is not a knock on our guys, Patty Bernard and Steve Fuentes, because they kick ass. But Michael here, one of the best, absolutely hands down in Philadelphia covering the Union. One of the absolute best. So guys, look him up if you're interested in Union coverage. It's not just for another season. This is a repetitive cycle with the Philly media and the major media. Until we stop supporting them and start supporting guys like Mike, not to toot my own horn, guys like me, guys like Talking 215, guys like DSM Media, until you stop, until you turn the dial off and turn the content online on, the media will continue to throw their BS out there. So there's just that. Darius Slay is a great captain. Yeah, I just think he does it differently. And then people want their captains to be the rah-rah, the in-your-face, the smash-mouth guy. It's just not Darius Slay. Kobe Dean would be a good football player if he could stay healthy too, mister. And maybe Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, maybe. I mean, I know he's new, but he's not new, if you get that. The Kobe Dean will be an interesting one to watch this camp. He really will be. And I'm really, really interested to see if he can get out of his own way and just get back. I mean, because if you go watch the Kobe Dean's footage and film from college at Georgia, I mean, he was a devastating linebacker. I know he's undersized, but we've seen undersized guys before have success. Instantly, I think of the guy, I can't think of his name, Samson. The guy played for Carolina for a little while. Undersized linebacker, was really good. You can be undersized at linebacker and still be successful in the NFL, as long as you know how to tackle. The Kobe Dean just can't stay healthy. All right. I'm not saying the media makes the Eagles lose. I'm saying that media drives a wedge in between players, in between the coaches. The media drives negative mentality. The media drives negativity. That's all I'm saying. The media has nothing to do with what happens on the field, the play calls, and the play execution. But the media does cause a distraction because the media creates random BS between Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Now, every player and coach has to answer questions for 3 months about the supposed wedge. And we know Jalen Hurts ain't going to comment. And we knew Nick Sirianni's just going to deflect like he deflected my man Jim's handshake attempt at the football camp. I'm still bitter over that. They just enjoy the losses. They do enjoy the media does enjoy the losses. Look, Mike, I'm not afraid to say it. Negativity and controversy sells. Sex sells. Negativity sells on content. If I put a negative title versus a positive title, the algorithm goes up. It's just plain and simple. If I would have made today's title Overreaction Monday, Eagles will miss the playoffs in 2024, instead of 78 people, 79 people watching right now, I'd have 179 people watching right now. But I don't want to be like that, at least not regularly. That's right. Ring that bell. Help ring that bell. And like this video, please, guys. I appreciate it. And speaking of ring the bell, we can bring the Phillies into the conversation as well. Losing 2 out of 3 against Oakland, All-Star break, then losing 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. Not ideal for your Philadelphia Phillies, but we still have a 9-game lead in the division because the Braves still stink. You don't have to be a captain to be a leader. That's true. It's a fair point, Barbara. Very, very fair. Jake Elliott is the real MVP. Yeah. I mean, ice in his veins. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Slade's a good captain. Seems like the perfect guy to talk to the secondary. And we need Darius Slade to be a great captain this year because there's 12 cornerbacks on this team. And outside of he and James Bradbury, if James Bradbury makes this team or not, there is going to be a lot of youth in the secondary. And you're going to need a veteran leader that has had success, i.e. Darius Slade in this league, to keep these guys, to teach these guys how to be professional football players, successful football players, where to be on the field. The Eagles roundtable streams, I'm sure they will be. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure about it. There's so much Eagles content on this channel, it makes my head explode. Not in a bad way, in a good way. 7-day-a-week programming right here on Edge of Philly Sports. There will be plenty of roundtables. I'm still waiting for the invite, back for the over-under show. Still waiting on that one. Jake Elliott should be a captain, one of the most important players on the team. Yeah, I wouldn't actually have a problem with Jake Elliott. It's kind of weird, a kicker being a captain, but you know what? He is probably our most valuable player outside of Jalen Hurts. I agree, but a title of captain is there to support and lead. It's a respect thing. You have that C on your jersey. People have to respect you to an extent. Others lead, but they aren't responsible. Yeah, I thought Jake Elliott already was. Whoever put the captains up before did have his name in it in the list here. Brett, you put it up here. I thought he was a captain already. Lane Johnson, without a doubt. Lane Johnson's already a captain. And Lane Johnson's going to have his work cut out for him as leader of the offensive line without Jason Kelsey. I do not think that's an overreaction. Saquon be a captain? Maybe, Davey. If my memory serves me, very rarely does a new player get brought in and immediately be given the captaincy. In almost all sports. Even elite players getting brought into teams don't instantly get that because a captain's got to be able to lead the entire locker room. And not everybody, Saquon won't have that reputation with everybody yet to be able to lead. Sweat's played with whatever role asked of him, big or small, and he's been here a long time. Yeah, but Josh Sweat, no. A guy that had to take a pay cut to stay on the team is not going to be given a captain's say. I just don't say it. Title does put the certain amount of responsibility on the title owner. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If there was one or even two captains, I might agree, but not with so many. There are a lot of captains, Barbara, on a football team. Are all football teams like the Eagles with 7, 8 captains? I feel like it is a lot of captains. Like, to me, Jalen Hurts would wear the captain's C. Maybe Darius Slay. Maybe one other person. And that's it. I mean, I don't know why there's 19 of 53 people wearing the captain's C. Cox and Kelsey leadership and vet presence is important, but even they couldn't help pull that team out. Look, I'm not trying to get back to rehash in 2023, Duck, but you bring up a valid point here. You do. Jordan Davis has captain material, although he's on the hot seat next season in terms of productivity. See, I disagree on both ends. I think Jalen Carter is more of a captain material, and I don't think Jordan Davis is on as much of a hot seat as others. Jordan Davis had a damn good season last year up through the Buffalo game. So rookie year, wasn't in shape. Last year, came in shape and just didn't maintain the shape. This year, hopefully he maintains the shape. But when on the field last year, Jordan Davis was able to catch Josh Allen from behind. I think that's all you need to know about Jordan Davis's motor and talent and ability. I think Jordan Davis is in for a huge season because last year I saw he's got a lot to give. He just couldn't maintain it. I almost feel like he blew a gasket in his engine chasing down Josh Allen and can never get that gasket fixed. The mechanic shop was closed. Pat and Stevie do fantastic work, but like we go way back in the original where you're still doing your show, man. You guys do all the union coverage is great, but Mike, Pat, and Fuentes are the best. Davis's problem is our understanding of what he's supposed to do. Exactly, Duck. We're on page here. You should never look at Jordan Davis's basic stats and be like he stinks or is good. I hate analytic stats and stuff, but Jordan Davis is the perfect example of why analytic stats are important. How many double teams does he command? How many sacks do other people get when he's on the field taking a double team? What's the run success rate of the opposing offense when Jordan Davis is on the field taking up double and triple teams in the middle? That is what Jordan Davis does. He'll never show up in the box score as this with huge numbers. And we had 7 captains and okay, all right. I just think they give it out to I think it's like a team thing. They just give it out to award people. Yeah. We really know who the leaders of the team are. Jalen Hurts and Kelsey and Cox last year, and that's it. Maybe one of the captains is a problem. Barbara, you're really making a lot of subtle comments. You weren't afraid last week when Freddie was covering for me on Monday to say fire Rob Thomson. Who do you think the problem is? It's Overreaction Monday. You can overreact. You can tell me whatever you want. This is a safe place. Unlike politics on Twitter, talking about who the problem is here, it's a safe place. I might disagree, but it's a safe place to tell me who you think the problem is. Good morning, Eric. How are you doing today? Truth, Davis' impact doesn't translate exactly. Like I said, Jordan Davis is the type of guy that only shows up in deep analytic stats, which I normally hate, but for him, they definitely make sense. Philadelphia is the only place where you can experience the thrill of victory and the agony of reading about it the next day. It's a great line. It's so true about our media. I love it. I love it. And there's a lot of overreactions with our Phillies going on, too. I mean, losing 4 out of 6 to Oakland and Pittsburgh is not going to win over the fans. When you get if you know how to get Merrill Reese in contact with me, Davey, you let me know. I reached out to a couple bigger name people yesterday trying to get some big names. Not any of the guests we've had, because Gabe Martinez, Luke Arcani. I get a lot of fantastic guests on the show. But I've reached out to some legends in the last 24 hours. Haven't heard back yet. We'll see. What captain had that nasty ego? Do you need a nasty ego? See, I always think about the leaders. I don't know if they all have the captaincy, but I always think about the 93 Phillies, Judd. And you had your 3 leaders. You had Lenny Dykstra, Darren Dalton, John Kruk. 3 completely different personalities. 3 completely different ways of leading. Dykstra had that nasty ego that if you screwed up, he'd punch you in the face. Darren Dalton was like that father you don't want to disappoint. When he pulls you aside privately to talk to you about your mistakes. And then John Kruk, the leader that knew how to change the tone of the locker room. All right, everybody's getting down on themselves. All right, come on, guys. We got this. You need 3 different personalities leading. Yeah, exactly. What do we got here? Non-biased journalism died when the newspapers went out of business. The new modus operandi is hot take, hot take, hot take. It is. It is. Maybe I should start doing hot takes. Or at least maybe I should make my titles hot takes regularly. Why not? I would have to battle you guys to get likes on this video. Barkley probably won't be captain. Exactly. Very rarely are you the captain the first year on a new team. Doesn't matter that he was the captain on the Giants. He's new to this team. Now, they don't give out the captaincies till late in camp. Maybe Saquon comes in and is an instant leader, locker room leader, practice leader, and earns that respect really fast. But honestly speaking, it's not realistically a normal thing. Did they give was Byard a captain? Byard was not a captain. No. Well, first off, PNC Park looks like a fantastic stadium for sure. And Big Al, guys, was out there covering the Phillies for EOP all weekend in Pittsburgh. But your second line, Permane Brothers, I've been saying it since the first time I went to Pittsburgh, is the most overrated local chain thing, because Permane Brothers is a chain now that's based out of Pittsburgh. Sucks. Who wants cold French fries and soggy coleslaw on your sandwich at the same? No, terrible. The most overrated thing that a city is known for. I'm not a Pat's or Gino's guy, but I'll take a Pat's cheesesteak over a Permane Brothers sandwich 1,000 times over. And Pat sucks, just so you know. Same thing with unbiased restaurant reviews. Yeah, you only put the negative reviews. I know that. And that's why restaurant reviews, kind of tough when you're trying to go to a restaurant. And as an owner, they suck. Because people only put on the negatives. They never put the positives. So if you go to a restaurant this week and you have a good experience, go online and leave a response. If you order from them on DoorDash, leave a positive review if it was good. Kenny Gainwell, assistant captain. Haven't seen K1 in the comments for a few days. Wonder what happened to him. Kenny Gainwell, well, K1's getting ready for camp. That's why, you know what I mean? He's really Kenny Gainwell. But, yeah. Be safe out there. A bunch of crazy SOPs in the field. Yeah. Phil and Chet, who do you want to see with the green dot? That's an interesting one. Normally, it's your middle linebacker. Most likely, it will be Devin White. And I remember, so Wednesday's the first practice. Whatever day last year the first practice was, Eric, they reported that the green dot was on Nakobe Dean's helmet. I was so excited. I'm like, this is going to be it for Nakobe Dean. We finally got our linebacker. So it'll probably be Devin White. We'll know in 48 hours who it is. I can't wait till Thursday's show to overreact to the first practice. Can't wait for that. But the green dot is interesting. Are we ready for Devin White, who everyone says is washed, to prove that he's not? Reinvigorated in Philly, reinvigorated to be the leader of a defense. He's only 26. He's a former All-Pro. Is it an overreaction to say that a lot of people are going to be surprised at how damn good Devin White is? Because Devin White might not be who he was 2 or 3 years ago, but our linebackers were absolute garbage last year. And even an average Devin White is 10 times better than anything we put out there last year. So it'll be Devin White. Carter and defense goes as far as Jordan Davis. Yeah, I can get behind that. I couldn't give you an answer with a yeah. No, it's Devin White's got the green dot, 100%. 2023 captains: Eagles 9, Giants 10, Commanders, Cowboys 6. Interesting. They wouldn't have known all that. What's up, Mike Lorio? Good morning. How you doing? I've seen the Cam Hayward, Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, I don't know why Pittsburgh's trying to trade him. Isn't he like 68 years old? He might be the only person older than you, Mike. Why would you be People saying that the Pittsburgh wants a second and a fourth round pick for him, and he's like 68 years old. Like, I do think we need another defensive lineman to put in that rotation. And sure, I would like Hayward for the next year. But I don't know if I'm risking a second and a fourth round pick as the rumors, as the media suggests it would take. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Howie Roseman would trade that much. Maybe a fourth round pick, but not a second or third and a fourth. I think that would be a severe overpay. I think you could get your defensive line depth help as cuts start to happen across the NFL 2-3 weeks from now. I'm not dumping a lot of assets into getting Cam Hayward right now. What was Barbara's last comment that you're complimenting here? Where? Oh my God. One of the captains was the problem. That's right. You never know. Is the tree of trust. You're safe. Yeah, you're always safe here. This is a safe space. You get Chris Franklin on, so that's already a fun and knowledgeable game. Look, Chris Franklin. Let me shout out Chris Franklin for a second. So I went to the AJ Brown football camp. All right. And there were not many media people. There was an NBC Sports camera guy there taking some video footage. That was it. And I see this guy from a distance. I think that's Chris Franklin. Turn around, saw the NJ.com sticker on his jacket. I went up, introduced myself. I've had Chris Franklin on this show more than any guest probably that I've ever had on this show. And let me tell you something. Chris Franklin in person was even nicer than he is on this show, giving me tips, advice. Hey, follow me. We're going to go get some pictures over here. I'm going to go over here and get a video. Now, his pictures and video were 10 times better than mine. But, dude, the guy was there. He chatted with me a whole bunch, gave me tips, advice. Chris Franklin is not just a great Eagles reporter. He's a great dude. So, y'all better be following Chris Franklin for updates from camp. Like Uncle from Bel Air that you don't want to disappoint. Yeah, I'm Uncle Phil. That's right. Jason Smith is the exception, the first year rule. And then he left just as quickly. Yeah. Maybe that's why Reddick is no longer on this team. Was he the anchor? Maybe. Duck, that's. I mean, you see what he's doing in New York, right? He still hasn't signed his extension. He's still. There's rumors that they're going to try to trade him already if he doesn't show up soon. Tulsa was that leader. Nearly killed some Dalton while driving. You know, the drunk driving thing. Yeah. You should have your own show on FS1 or something, probably more than. I definitely would have lower ratings because I wouldn't be throwing out those garbage hot takes. But Skippy Payless is leaving soon. Thank God. Permandy's Brothers was good when I first had it 20 years ago, but I had it 5 years ago. Look, once places get too big, quality drops. Plain and simple. The shrimp and crab fry sandwich from Chickies is good. Never had that. No Gainwell. Lenny was a nasty leader. I meant. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. Lenny was. Yeah. To think Skip Bayless was actually legitimate. Yeah, he was legitimate at one point. That is crazy. You got a new 76ers fan. Judah Mintz, my cousin. Hey, that's good. We welcome all Sixers fans. And Joel Embiid was in the news. Team USA was in the news. Team USA barely beating South Sudan, a country that just formed like 3 minutes ago. Be interesting to see what Team USA does in the Olympics in the coming weeks. Stevie Boy Fuentes. Great call on Xander Schauffele. Winning a second major. So your agreement for White is that he's not as trash as our other linebackers. Yes. Yes. That's a perfect excuse. The green dot normally goes to a linebacker. And Devin White is going to be starting at linebacker. And Devin White was an elite linebacker a year and a half ago. 2 years ago. He's only 26. Are we so sure he's get that washed? Are we? I'm more sure that Kyle Lowry's washed than Devin White being washed. Phil, you are officially a part of the media now? Supposedly. I hung out with the media. Him, Chris Franklin, Zach Berman, NBC Sports. There's also a photographer from the Inquirer there. So, yeah, I was hanging out with the media people on Friday a little bit. Thank you. That's not going to help with your depth, but okay, cool. Phil, just for fun, give us a steaming hot pile of the take. On the spot, a hot take. Oh, man. that Andrew Painter will not pitch one inning for the Philadelphia Phillies in his career. That Andrew Painter will never make an All-Star game. That Andrew Painter should be traded right now. I don't know if that's that might even be a hot take. I saw the Cleveland Guardians. I almost said the Cleveland Indians. DFA'd Spencer Howard this weekend. And it reminded me about my argument that I did not copy against a man that will not keep my name out of his mouth. I did not copy this take from him, as he likes to tell people. I hosted a whole show copying his show from the night before. Horse crap. Prospects are just that. You trade them. And you don't know Spencer Howard was going to be Andrew Painter. Hype. And look at Spencer Howard now. Team captain, most important job is to guide the new and young players to success. The rah-rah stuff is overrated. What sport, mister, is the captain the most important in? Baseball, football, basketball, hockey, or soccer? You can throw it. Mike might still be in the comments. What sport is it most important in? Favored by 44 points, too. Yo, can you not watch Team USA games right now? I haven't seen them online anywhere or on TV anywhere. Well, man, they just don't care. Team France would smoke this Team USA. Team USA, here's a Mr. One at this. You want a hot pile of a take? Team USA will not medal in the Olympics. They will not medal in the Olympics. They're the 4th or 5th best team in the Olympics. There's a steaming hot pile take right there. That was a complete crap show. Joel Embiid missing layups. Oh, man. Embiid was plus 15 in 18 minutes while game was of minus 5. Yeah, look, AD, I'll stand by this. This is not a pile hot take. Anthony Davis is the most overrated big man in the NBA. He's the most overrated superstar big man in the NBA. Everybody talks about Joel Embiid's injury history. Well, AD has been injured just as much, if not more. Anthony Davis is a supremely talented individual, but he's so overrated. Play 3 p.m. today versus Germany. Is it on TV? Because I don't ever see them on TV. And keep them from spending all the money on cars and partners. Yeah, that too. Was on Fox. I did not see it. Maybe it will be today on Fox, and I'll look for it. Skip Payless. Hot take. Sierra gets fired by the bye week and killing more. Stop. But it's a hot take. I don't think a captain is limited to sports. I think it. I absolutely agree. So you're saying all businesses. I got to give out a captaincy at my restaurant? I don't think so. I put it on my own shirt. Adam Hurley, I just quick. That's how you know. No. What the U.S. games have been on FS1. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Did not know that. Maybe I just don't go to FS1 enough, and that's why I didn't see it. Lighten up, guys. Stop. We're always trying to stir shit up. But what we also are trying to do is promote our great sponsors. And first and foremost, we got SherryTickets.com. Right moments don't just happen. They happen with you in the crowd. SherryTickets.com is easy to use, and they have no hidden fees. Whether you're looking for sports tickets to your Eagles or Phillies, concert tickets. I know Dave Matthews was in town recently. Theater tickets. Go to SherryTickets.com. No hidden fees. Price you see is price you pay. If you use promo code EOP10 at checkout, you get 10% off. If you need a personal touch for larger tickets or group, call them 610-494-5050. Let them know EOP Trading the AM sent you. But again, don't overpay with the rest. Save with the best. SherryTickets.com. Promo code EOP10. And of course, our great friends over at PhillySportsTrips.com. They have the great Brazil Week 1 trip to see the Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers. But they also have some great ones. Just add it to Italian Heritage Celebration Tailgate August 14th. Mickey Morandini will be part of the tailgate. So go hang out with Mickey Morandini. And then catch a Phillies game. It's a great time. Obviously, I can't put that one up. They're also taking deposits for your World Series champion Philadelphia Phillies to defend their crown in 2025. Obviously, they got a great trip to Miami to see the Union in September, who have won a few games. And, of course, all of our great Birds takeovers at Tampa Bay, Baltimore, bus trip, Dallas, and more, guys. So go to PhillySportsTrips.com, sign up, check out some of their packages, and let them know EOP and Trending in the AM sent you. Team USA on Fox today. Okay, I will try my best to remember and get that on at the shop today. Whit Merrifield. Do people realize we have only won like one game since we've cut Whit Merrifield? I think we're 1-6 or 1-5, maybe 2-6 since we cut Merrifield. Maybe it's 2-6 since we cut Merrifield. Bad. Maybe Whit Merrifield was the glue. Hot take. We should never have fired or cut Whit Merrifield. AD versus Cat. Ooh. Man, I don't like Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, because I hate his personality. Anthony Davis is over. Eric, why would you throw that kind of a question into the conversation? That's a tough one. I'll take Cat over AD because you're forcing me to make a decision on the spot. Cat over AD. Skip Payless, hot take. Reddick gets traded back to the Eagles for a 6th-round pick and a sandwich. That would be hilarious. I already joked about that. That would be hilarious. And then if the locker room collapses again, then we know it was Reddick, right? I'd wear a C on the shirt. Yeah, I know you would. Let's make the Skip Payless thing a thing. Skip Bayless or baseless. I like what you're doing there, Duck, with the Skip baseless. But I've been calling him Skip Payless for a long time. You know, if you remember Payless shoes. I don't know if I could change my name change. I don't know if I could personally change it from Payless to baseless. So we'll just use both. Skip actually hates Duck, and I told you. I've said it before. Maybe you might not have heard it, Barbara. When Dak's brother committed suicide, Dak came out during the funeral proceedings and all and spoke to the media and said, yeah, I'm depressed. I'm mourning my brother right now. And Skip Payless went on his next episode of the show and said that it was wrong for Dak to admit he was upset about his brother and depressed. That is not how the quarterback of his Dallas Cowboys should act in public. And as soon as he said that Dak Prescott should not mourn his brother's loss publicly, I lost all respect for him. And I will never support Skip Payless ever again. Bron's going to take us home the gold, absolutely. Even though, Bron's 38 years old, LeBron James is still the best player in the NBA. A star for every Super Bowl worked. Who got the big C or the green dot on the court? 12. Ooh. I don't know. Marshawn and K1 have been MIA for a couple days, couple shows. Eric, you've been around since the beginning. Missed a semi since the beginning. Who's the leader of the core 12? I don't know. The Skip Baseless hot takes. I'm going to write this down. The Skip Baseless hot take segment. Do you know how to make overlays, Steve? Make me an overlay for the screen and title it the Skip Baseless hot take segment. And we'll do that every show. We'll have a baseless hot take segment every show. And pay their Delilah's tab when their credit card is taken. Yeah, that's what Catton's for. Reddick for a 6 and a stale crumble cookie. Exactly. Missed it, yeah. AD versus Cat is the two Charmin Bears fighting, basically. When Ben Simmons makes you tap out, you know you got a problem. Ozzy Albies broke his wrist, yeah. What they say, Nooms? 8 weeks? Approximately for Albies. So that puts you into late September till he comes back if all goes well. The Braves are free falling. Braves might not make the playoffs even at this point. I mean, I don't know where they are in the wild card standings. I could pull that up pretty quickly. But anyway, I do want to throw Phillies in this conversation for a second because I know we're talking Eagles and we can continue talking Eagles, but I do want to bring up one thing that was said to me on Twitter this weekend. The Braves are not going to miss. They got a 4.5 game lead. Yeah, I doubt the Braves would miss the playoffs. But there was a Phillies question brought up, or comment brought up on my Twitter from Anthony, who's a great guy that he follows me, and he's always very, very engaging on Twitter with me. Do the Phillies even need? Because I'm all here ready to trade Ada Miller, Andrew Painter, whoever. I'm ready for it. But Is it necessary? This Phillies team, as constructed, even if you continue with the center field left field platoons, even if you continue on with what we've got, this team is a lock for the playoffs. Can this team, without making a trade, a significant trade, sure, at a six-inning reliever or a bench bat, whatever, like a significant trade, not adding Mason Miller, not adding a starting power bat, can this team still make the World Series? And it might be yes. And I don't think it's a bold hot take. Yeah, who disappointed you more? Yeah, exactly. Cat Williams is way greater than AD. Like, I think AD is so overrated. I think captains are most important in football because it's the ultimate team sport. All right, so the only argument I can make against that, and I think you're right, mister, and the only thing I can say against that is, in baseball, leaders are important because you're together in that locker room for 162 games. You're basically together for 6 months straight, on the road, in hotel rooms, all the time. Leaders got to keep that team together. It's the only argument I can make that baseball is more important than football. Landon has to be because you're a child. I mean, you look like a 12-year-old kid. Skip Bayless doesn't deserve another second on this segment. Yeah, probably not. A hard-nosed vet, TMC. Yeah. TMC, K1, Marshawn, relatively MIA lately. I'm a little disappointed, but we got Judd back, so it's okay. Bronny trying to get on the US. Yeah, probably. Wouldn't be shocked. Eric's the spark plug, comes in off the bench and provides buckets. Eric's the Jordan Clarkson of the core 12. Okay, gotcha. Max Fried is done too. Max Fried's been gone for a while. So is out. They lost two other guys, or Fried and somebody else earlier. Last 10 games, Yankees 4-6, Cleveland 3-7, 3-7, 4-6. That time of year for many good teams. Yeah, I'm not overreacting. I'm chalking up 2-4 over our last 6 against bad teams to just midseason. Bleh. You know, the initial surge is over. The playoffs are 2 months away. Little lull. You've built up a 9-game lead in the division. You can let the foot off the pedal a little bit. I guess so. Baseless take. Phils will have a morale spiral just to have the Eagles hold their coffee. No, I don't think this Phillies team will have a morale issue ever. That's why they kept Garrett Stubbs. Here's a hot take, a bold take, not an overreaction. Keeping Garrett Stubbs instead of Marshawn as the backup catcher was the right decision for the Phillies, because that locker room morale does matter in baseball. It just doesn't make sense to me, Nooms. It doesn't. I still get carded at movie theaters. Yeah, rightfully so. It makes me think of the time that T.J. McConnell tried to get into Xfinity Live after a Sixers game when he was still playing here. And the bouncers had no idea who he was, and he didn't have his ID on him, so he couldn't get in. I haven't been carded for anything in my life since I was 17 years old, Mitch. Did you line up A.J. Brown as a guest on the show? I wish I did, Adam. A.J. Brown, don't know who I am, but I will for those in the peanut gallery that haven't seen it. Let me see if I can really quickly find a picture of me coaching A.J. Brown a little bit this weekend. But I gave him some advice this weekend. I did, and it shouldn't take me much longer. Here we go. There's that. All right, share screen. Present. Share screen. Twitter. Share. Now, ads. This is what I did wrong last week. There's me giving A.J. Brown some advice. Just look at the size difference. I know there's a depth perspective from where the camera angle is. Well, there's a massive size difference between A.J. Brown and Phil Stiefel, the beard. Just saying. Kind of crazy, for sure. All right, we'll take that off the screen. You guys don't need to see that anymore. Captains. I feel hockey, the captain is very important. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right on that one. I'm not 100% sure, but you might be on par with that one. I can't 100% guarantee that that's accurate or not, but you might be right. I'm not sure. Hockey's kind of similar to baseball with on the road a lot. There's also only like what one or two captains in baseball, whereas in football there's 300 of them on a team. So there's that aspect of it too. I don't know. Not sure there. Not sure there. Mitch gets a 12 and under ticket. Yeah, Mitch gets to pay for the Mitch gets when Mitch sits down on a date at a restaurant, they hand Mitch the kids menu because they think the date's his mom, and not his date. K1 and Marshawn on vacation. They might be the same person. I don't know. I thought it was Kenny Gainwell, but maybe K1 and Marshawn are on vacation together. Maybe they're plotting the takeover. Delilah's on the memory. Delilah's. I hung out and got. I was never a strip club guy. Never a fan. If I wanted to, I would be a Club Risque guy, just because family friends. Yeah, Delilah's was always. They have like fancy steaks there too. No Jordan. Oh, you want to be Lou Evans, not Jordan Clarkson? All right. Mitch, I got kids who look older than you. This is just going to turn into a make fun of Mitchie Poo's youthful appearance. When we're all looking old and half dead, which I already look, we're going to be jealous of the way Mitchie looks, just so we know. Was that a little too far, my Mitchie Poo joke? Like if Barb and Mitchie Poo were on a date, they'd give Mitchie Poo the kids menu, right? Come on now. AJ's built like, dude, no lie, Duck. Like I've met athletes before. I've hung out with athletes before. And still, it just, you never get over a professional athlete once you meet them in person. The presence, their body, like they're because they're such physical specimens. Like I've met people bigger and stronger than AJ Brown before, Duck. But when you meet somebody like that in person and you stand next to him, you're like, when you just shake his hand. I was always taught no dead fish. I'm a very good handshaker. I like to say that, because I give a nice firm handshake. And AJ Brown's hands like swallowed me whole. It always shocks the system when you meet somebody like him in person. Phil's a large man. I'm a 6'2". I've gotten to 225 down to 215 right now. I'm working on it. I'm hoping by the end of the year I can get back to about 200. But I'm a big man. And I look tiny. K1 is actually Kenny. You know who's not a big man? I'll say this. I spent a lot of time with Chris Franklin. Chris Franklin's very tall. Chris Franklin's a big guy, too. But Zach Berman was there as well. The only two beat reporters were at the camp, Berman and Franklin. And I knew Zach Berman was short. But Zach Berman makes Mitchie Poo look like he's 6'2". Zach Berman would be the only person to make Mitchie Poo feel tall. That guy is short. I think the gobbler is getting cold feet about taking on your pizza challenge. Dude, you know what? It's been out there, Mike. Nobody's randomly, don't randomly show up, because when people randomly show up to the pizza shop, happens to be the once a week I take off. Al, Jason Lee from PHL 17, both of them showed up on exact days when I decided, though I haven't had a day off since, I've had like one day off this month. And I closed early one day. And they were the 2 days that Al showed up, and the day that Zafiri that Jason Lee showed up. Phil the Beard dwarfs AJ Brown. Yeah, I don't think so. Mitch and Paul Rudd have figured out where the fountain of youth is. Like to get in as an adult, like to ride a roller coaster, Mitchie Poo and Paul Rudd have like stand on each other's shoulders to reach the right height to actually ride the big boy roller coaster. Baseless take K1, Marshawn, same person. Wow, that would break. Yeah, I love it. You need to get in the gym, Phil. You can't have a Viking beard with skinny arms. Do I have skinny arms? Are they skinny? They're a little. I have skinny legs. And I trimmed the beard, so I don't have a Viking beard anymore. I mean, my arms are a little. I haven't done much weightlifting lately in my life. I don't think my back can handle it. I remember meeting Crucker when he was still playing. His arms were like tree trunks. His gut was huge, but man, he looked like he could. I worked at a hotel bar in Philly in college, and it happened to be the hotel that a lot of visiting baseball teams were staying at. So I would be the I was the bar server area, and all the players would come back from after games playing the Phillies, come down for a late night drink and dinner and stuff like that. And so I've met Barry Bonds in person, Mark McGwire in person, Sammy Sosa I played blackjack with. I met all these big athletes, these big baseball players. And every time I continue to be shocked. Every time. I'm taller than Zach. Yeah. Yeah, Jason, you knew it was happening. Jason's got a great interview up with Mike Sealski on his YouTube page, guys. Make sure you check it out. I'm the last person to know when it rains. I love that Mitchie Poo has no problem making fun of himself. Mitchie Poo, I hope our jokes about your height don't force you to call David R. Cherry the Cherry Law Firm, because he's the best workers' compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury lawyer, criminal lawyer there is. But he could probably get you some help in defamation lawsuits as well. Guys, if you need a lawyer in the state of Pennsylvania, call the man, call the best, call the man that's going to fight for you and get you what you deserve. Call David R. Cherry, the Cherry Law Firm. You can call him at 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Make sure you let them know EOP, Tread in the AM, sent you. Again, 610-565-0300. cherryinjurylaw.com. That's David R. Cherry of the Cherry Law Firm. Mitchie Poo, don't sue us for making some jokes. Phil, I didn't go to Delilah for pleasure. I went in the name of journalism. Oh, it was all for a research project, right? Research. Journalism. You had a story to write. That's what it all was about. Viking Warrior King. No, my arms are pretty skinny. I'm not like wrestlers that I put like ropes around my arms to make them look bigger, or wear an extra tight shirt to make them look bigger. No, my arms are skinny. I know that. I've never been a big upper body guy. Never was able to bench press a lot. I was always a legs guy. I could squat a lot. I could do leg presses really well. But that was before my leg injury, before I became fat and out of shape. You guys are a little late on the cherry bombs, a little lag on the cherry bombs, guys. We got one final great sponsor here before we wrap up for the final 15 minutes of the show today, and that's the Great Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park. 65 plus years now, the quintessential Irish-American dive bar in Delaware County. Great food, great times. Find them, dolansbar.com. Find them on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Go in there, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. Let PJ and the crew know you heard about them right here on Training the AM, Edge of Philly Sports, guys. And, of course, there's 7-day-a-week program. So make sure, if you have not done it yet, you hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, the follow button, because there's 7-day-a-week program here. I forgot to download this week's schedule. I'll get it for tomorrow's show. But, guys, you don't want to miss a minute of the action right here on Edge of Philly Sports. So much great content, guys. Don't miss it. Yeah, cherry bomb, Irish bomb. All right, so back to it. Hot takes here. Let's see. I mean, I don't have to cover all. I got 2 pages of notes here already, and the week's just getting started. So we haven't covered everything. But is it a hot take that the Phillies don't have to make a trade at the deadline? Is it okay that we don't get a big addition, that we could still make a deep run? I think that needs to be discussed towards the end of the show a little bit. Plus, some of my great poll questions from some other great content from Twitter. So I want to put a picture up first. We'll throw this into the conversation today. Let me share the screen one more time here. So I don't know if this is real. I saw this on the EOP Facebook page, so I shared it out on Twitter. I don't know if this is real or not, guys. Is this a real thing? Are they really putting a Kelsey cereal mix together? And can I tell you how much I think this is fantastic? That more cereal needs to be mixed like this? Now, I don't know about these 3. Reese's Puffs, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms. But if you can mix 3 cereals together, this is a pretty damn good combo. Now, I might take the Reese's Puffs out, maybe throw some Honey Nut Cheerios in there. I think if this was real, this is incredible. As you're saying, Judd, incredible. The greatest of all time. Check the facts. It backs it up. This is interesting. Dude, these boys aren't just great football players. They're super, super smart business people as well, Judd, without a doubt. I think I want to get a box just to try. I've mixed cereal before, never 3. I've mixed 2 cereal boxes before, just for it. Just wanted to throw that out there to you guys. Just thought you guys would like to see that right there. We'll take that off the screen there. Phil puts silly string around his arms to make the. No, I don't. No. No. I wish. Always wish. Why the Phillies didn't make a trade to make the team better ahead of the final. This is something that always bothers me, Duck. You know you need to make a trade, and you wait till the deadline. If you know you need to make a trade, just make the trade. I don't get it. But Anthony brought up a good point. This team is what's their record right now? I had it up. Hold on. Standings. There we go. Back to the standings down. They are 63-36. They've got an 8.5 game lead in their division. They got there with this with the holes and the problems that this Phillies team is. They've gotten to 63 wins at this point. Only once in the history of the Phillies have they gotten to this point of the season with more wins than 63. Mitchie Poo, when are they going to get to win 69? We'll appease your childish humor. But the question is, do the Phillies have to make a trade? They should. I would like them to. But if they just go out and add a fifth starter, they go out and add a guy that's only going to be like a 5th or 6th inning reliever. They just go out and add a power bat for the bench. Is that good enough? And it might be good enough. I think it's an underrated opinion. Captain Crunch, Peanut Butter Crunch, and Crunch Berries, the core 12 values. I find Captain Crunch one of the most underrated cereals of all time. I really do. Captain Crunch never gets put on the Lucky Charms is my favorite cereal. Honey Nut Cheerios and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They're my favorite 3 cereals. But Captain Crunch makes the top 5. Without a doubt. Let's see. Captain Crunch would be 4. Lucky Charms, Honey Nut Cheerios, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Captain Crunch. I don't have to think about it. Maybe Corn Pops. Underrated. It might be in my top 5 as well. There's a huge hole in our outfield, and the Phillies didn't get someone who can give them a bat and fill that hole. They also need to help middle relief. We didn't spend any time today talking about Jose Alvarado. Oh, and I see somebody else. As I'm about to say Jose Alvarado, I don't think we need to trade for bullpen help. We just need somebody to convince Rob Thomson that Jose Alvarado is not a closer. Jeff Hoffman is the closer. Rob Thomson doesn't know it, but everybody else knows it. Jose Alvarado, let me say it again, is not a closer. Guys, when will Rob Thomson figure this out? I don't know. It drives me nuts. But do they need outfield help? They've got 63 wins. Rotating Pache, Rojas, Marsh. Who else? Whit Merrifield earlier. Weston Wilson. Whoever else they throw out there. They've been doing this, and it's been working. If you've got JT Realmuto back, Bryce Harper back, Schwarber, Castellanos heating up. Trey Turner is hitting nearly 400 in the month of July. Doesn't matter who's in center field. It's just a question. And you can't convince me that Tyler Phillips shouldn't start game 1 of the World Series either after yesterday. Frosted Flakes are good. Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops together. Hold on, I'm thinking about it. I kind of like that idea. If Hoffman and Strahm aren't used as closers and the Phillies need a closer. Yeah. I would feel more. I like Strahm in the 7th, 8th inning role, personally. But Hoffman and Strahm, power rankings of the Phillies relievers, are head and shoulders above Alvarado. And not just because he blew the game on Friday, but he's been sketch all year long. You can't forget life. Travis, get that out of here. Come on. Life don't even make the top 10 cereal list. Yeah. I don't know if I think it's more of a power ranking, cereal power ranking. I write a lot of stuff down and I never follow through with it. I need more time in the day. I do. I need an intern. 6 more wins. Where are you going to be on win 69? Can the Phillies trade for a manager? Look, Barb, you haven't been following enough to know I'm not a big Rob Thomson supporter. Now, I've promised that I would not criticize him this year as much, and I haven't. But after the season, if we come up short this season, and by coming up short, I mean at a very minimum, we need to get to the World Series. At a very minimum. Then I'll be criticizing him in the offseason just like you. Because I always do. In my opinion, he's my least favorite. Might be one of my least favorite managers in Philadelphia. Mitch Koski, take my life. Yeah. Cookie Crisp and Flintstone cereal. Yeah, I never got behind Cookie Crisp. Put me down for Frosted Flakes. I like Frosted Flakes. It probably would crack my top 10. Count Chocolate. Nah, I don't like chocolate with breakfast. I'm not a big chocolate at breakfast time guy. Apple Jacks, bleh, terrible. 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 But back to the Phillies. What is with Rob Thomson is, I mean, we don't criticize Rob Thomson anymore. We try not to, even though Barbara does, and I want to. But Rob Thomson is one of the most stubborn SOBs that I remember in a long time in Philadelphia sports. It's clear as day that Jose Alvarado should not be the closer. But yet he keeps trotting him out there. It's pretty clear that Jeff Hoffman should be the closer. He doesn't do it consistently enough. And I don't understand. I mean, we've dealt with this with so many things, not taking Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot in the last 2 years. It's worked out this year. You know, not giving Brandon Marsh a chance against lefties. Making Brandon Marsh a platoon player. Benching guys at the wrong times. It's just something that Rob Thomson seems to make all these decisions, and they always work out. The problem is now, this is year 3 of this run. Got to the World Series in 2022. Last year, fell a little short. If we do not return to the World Series this year, with this payroll and this team, no matter what trades are made at the deadline here, we will have to start talking about Rob Thomson again. Can he get them to a title or not? But I'm going to give him till the end of the year. Barbara, I've been saying this for 2.5 years now. I have. That even when you mess up, there's so much talent, you win despite. I agree. You're not telling me anything that I haven't already said. Actually, guys, Barb might be my burner account. And I'm just saying it to, it might be my burner. I might be in control of the Barber account. How about Apple Jacks, alcohol into your milk, into a bowl of Frosted Flakes? I am too old to try it out myself, but if they're, what? I don't know anything about, I don't understand this, but I have seen people put things in their coffee machine, like cereal or candy, put the alcohol in the coffee machine and brew the alcohol through the coffee or through the cereal and candy to flavor the alcohol. I've seen that before. Frosted Flakes mixed with Fruit Loops is as crazy as wearing a silk checkered shirt and polka dot corduroy pants. Is Rob Thomson better than Joe Girardi? Yes. Joe Girardi was like Doc Rivers, living off a success from 20 years ago. Joe Girardi was terrible. The only thing with Rob Thomson, though, is Rob Thomson didn't want to be the head coach or the manager of the Phillies. He was ready to retire before 2022. The Phillies convinced him to come be a bench coach. Then he got promoted, the first time being a head coach, manager. Your taste buds should go. Yeah, David Archeri. Yeah. Yeah, checkered and polka dots. Maybe it's a Halloween costume coming up for you guys next year. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, my goodness gracious, guys. This has been a fun show. I got to work on this. The Skip Bayless the skip baseless hot takes segment. I got to find a way to make an overlay for this show for that. And we're going to do it every day. I'm going to have a baseless hot take every day on this show going forward. Sandman, did you realize that Girardi managed the Marlins for 1 year and was manager of the year, then quit? Joe Girardi is... I don't even want to revisit the Joe Girardi stuff. I don't. And again, like I said, I get Barber's frustrations with Rob Thomson because I have them too. I just keep him much more silent than I used to because, hey, I'm tired of people harassing me when I say something negative about him. That graphic's almost done already. Of course Steve would be working on that. I love you, Steve. Steve is the best. Guys, this man's a fantastic dude. You know what? I love, well, it's been now, May, June. I'm in my third month now, I believe, at Edge of Philly Sports here. And I knew some of these guys before. I've met some of them now since. But the best part of being part of EOP is I got to meet Stevie Boy. This guy is the man right here. Love this guy. Facts. Facts. Get your facts straight. Just the facts, man. Just the facts. But anyway, we got to wrap this up here in a few moments here. Things that are on my list that I did not cover. Well, there's a golf one. I'm not going to talk about the Open, but I got a golf question for the golfers out there. We didn't talk about the safety position much, so we'll continue with that tomorrow. I got a poll running on Twitter. But Mitchie Poo, I knew you before EOP. I don't even know if Steve might have been a commenter occasionally, but I never chatted with Steve before EOP. Just so you know. I got a poll question running on Twitter right now. Who should be the presidential candidate to run opposite of Donald Trump? A, The Rock. B, Iron Man. C, I don't even remember who C is on my list. I got to find it now. Hold on a second. Who did I put as the third candidate on here? What the hell? Where's my... I can't even find it. There it is. Jason Kelsey, The Rock, Iron Man, or other. Who do you want to run for president of the United States? That is something we will cover tomorrow as well. We barely talked about Stubbs over Marshawn. And Brendan Deeg in the score, who's been on the show a few times. Love Brendan Deeg. He's great. He thinks I don't know how to say his name. Mekhi Becton will win the right guard position in camp this year over Tyler Steen, even though he's more of a swing tackle guy. That Mekhi Becton will be the right guard week 1 for the Eagles. I think it's a bold take, but one that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Always love to see you guys in the comments. You guys are great. This is why I do this. You guys are why I do this. Days like today, we're over 200 comments now. Mark Kelly, Governor Arizona, Navy vet, astronaut. Joe Girardi has an eccentric personality, but yet we didn't really see that in the last year or two. Why? Because Joe Girardi was pretty much spent as a manager by that point. But anyway, guys, we got to wrap it up. Make sure you hit that like button, that share button, subscribe, follow, retweet, wherever you are watching. Tell a friend, phone a friend. When you're in Wawa today, pull out your phone and tap on the shoulder of the person in front of you. Yo, guys, watch this show. This is the premiere show. Hey, it's always good to see Judd in the thing. Once his captain's shirt back. Well, no, you got to earn it. But that being said, guys, it's time to say goodbye to all my family. T-I-A-M. It doesn't work. I say it I always keep thinking I'm going to find a way to make the Mickey Mouse Club ending into a theme song to end the show. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. Yeah, I'm a dork. I got some dorky things going on. Another great overreact. Yeah, dude, baseless take. It's going to be a regular segment. And I have a lot of bad takes in my mind that I keep quiet. There's a lot of voices in my head that I keep quiet. But I'm going to let them come out once a show during the baseless take of the day. Phillies did win. Tyler Phillips, convince me. I got to wrap this show up, Brianna. You're coming in late here today. But convince me that Tyler Phillips should start game 1 of the World Series when the Phillies get there. I mean, that kid, unbridled enthusiasm. That kid just, no fear. We'll see how the Phillies do starting tonight against Minnesota, a good team. It should be a tough series against Minnesota out in Minnesota. But guys, with that being said, y'all have a great day. I have to get to work. If you're out in the Kennett area, I'll be there till 8:00 tonight. Fox's Pizza in Kennett Square. Come say hello. Otherwise, with that being said, as Duck already said, go Birds. Players report tomorrow, guys. So go Birds. Ring that bell. And as always, guys, bubbles up to you.